What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's always great to see you back, and I got another AC service call we got going on, so stay tuned and I'll see you at the customer's house. Alright, I'm here at the customer's house. What the problem she's telling me is she's having is, she says when she turns her air conditioner on, sometimes that the outdoor fan motor will not come on, and it makes a huge, squealing noise. And basically when it does that, the system doesn't cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tools together. We will go ahead to the condensing unit and let's see what's going on with this thing. Okay, we're at the condensing unit. I went ahead and got my tools and everything out. We can see that the outdoor fan motor is working, and we can hear our compressor running downstairs. Down on the bottom. So if she's saying that the outdoor fan motor is turning off, we need to see kind of what's going on with our fan. So what we want to do first is we want to look inside. I don't know, you probably can't see it here, but on the side of the motor to see what the amp draw is. And the amp draw of that motor is 1.5. So the first thing I'm going to do is check the amp draw of the motor to see if it's overamping and maybe intermittently turning off. And if it is, we need to find out what the cause of that is. So we're going to find our common wire of our fan. I've already got it set to amps. And what do you know? This thing is reading 1.8 amps. So there's something going on with this motor. It's either something going on with the motor itself or the capacitor. So the easiest thing to do is we go first check the capacitor. If our capacitor is good, that means there's probably something going on with our fan. If the capacitor is bad, then that's probably what's causing the overamping situation. So let's check that first. We'll turn power off. Alright, we'll go check our microfarads between common and fan. And this capacitor should be reading 5. And this capacitor is pretty much reading nothing. So we got a bad capacitor on the system. So what we need to do is replace the capacitor, start it back up, and let's see if our amp draw goes down. Okay, we got a new capacitor back in. And now let's check our amp draw. And we can see our amp draw is 0.9. And the maximum amp draw we're supposed to be getting is 1.5. So we're within range, we're below our maximum amp draw. So what was happening with this this capacitor was bad. The motor was still starting, but with the capacitor being bad, it was causing the motor overheat, and the motor would turn off and not come on. So let me clean up everything and I'll see you back in the truck. Okay, we found another capacitor problem. With this call here, you can see that not all AC systems that have a capacitor failure, that the capacitor is ovaled on top, or that the motor is not starting at all. This right here is proof that sometimes the motor can still start, can still run, but with it running with a bad capacitor, it'll cause the motor to overamp, which will intermittently cause the motor to overheat. So always when you go and they have an issue that they say the motor is not working, always check your capacitor to make sure that's good, because the motor could be good and you could be going there and say, hey, this motor's working, there's nothing I can do. Always check that capacitor to make sure that's good, and always check your amp draw of the motor to make sure that's good. So everything on this system is working. I checked the freon. The freon's good. We're getting an 18-degree temperature drop inside the house. So another capacitor has caused another problem, but we can always find it. We can always fix it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. And as always, I'll see you on the next service call.